Blacklisted. Boom. So I'm actually going to use this video to address anyone that still has questions about it in the future. I'm just going to shoot them over a little link. Hello, 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 Transurfer, and the Transurfing curious, and the Blacklisted curious. My name is Renee Garcia, guys, Blacklisted Transurfer extraordinaire. And this is going to be a video with very little value for you. In fact, no value. No, I'm not going to say that. It's got some value. If there's a takeaway from this video that I want for anyone that is going to waste their time watching it, it would be that, you know, have no fear. Have no fear, especially of people or of pendulums trying to get you to adhere or convince you of standards that you must hold on to that weren't created or set by you, and the subsequent consequences of threats and all that kind of stuff. I mean, this has been a very interesting experience for me, and an experience that has really allowed me to connect with my ability to stop giving a fuck about what other people want for me and how other people want me to be and want me to act, and boxes that have been created by others that want, you know, that the people want me to fit within. And for a lot of years, Vadim Zeland and I were absolutely on the same page, and we were working closely, and things were harmonious. But at a certain point, and this happens with almost all things in life that we are a part of, at a certain point, we get to a fork in the road where we, you know, have to either conform to the standards of the pendulum, or we embrace our individuality and go in our own direction. And one thing that I have really learned from reality transurfing, more so than anything else, is the more that I stay true to the voice of my heart, the voice of my soul, the more I tune into the frail of my soul, the better my layer of reality, it continues to get better and better. The better my reality evolves. And so this video is actually kind of just, I'm kind of doing it on a whim. Somebody said to me the other day in a comment on one of the videos on this channel, "Hey, I just noticed that you're blacklisted by Vadim Zeland, ... How cool." And I thought to myself, you know what? It actually is really fucking cool. It's really fucking cool, because I, you know, look up to Vadim Zeland, even after what happened, right? And the whole story behind the blacklisted fiasco. You know, I'm not going to get into the details, but, you know, I have... I can be a little bit of a, my intentions sometimes can be a little bit mischievous, I will admit. And at a certain point, I actually set the intention to make Vadim Zeland's blacklist. And I knew the exact step that I needed to take in order to facilitate in order to facilitate this. Now, why I did this is an act of me continuing to evolve in my own way to my soul frail and detach from the standards that pendulums have set for me. I started this process a long time back when I accepted that I wanted to live a different life than the generations before me, right? And I went about doing things that I got a lot of resistance from in my reality. When I was married, everybody thought something was wrong with me because I didn't want to have children. Oh, you'll change. Oh, you'll realize that when the day's right and you'll go for it, And then finally, when I get into my 40s, people stop saying that shit to me because, they see that no, this was me staying true to my soul frail. I did this with not conforming professionally, continuing to advance myself as an entrepreneur, continuing to push the envelope on my lifestyle, right? I've lived in open romantic relationships. I've had very unconventional living situations. At one point, I had no home. I lived on a sailboat for a number of years. So I've always been one of these people that definitely challenges the status quo. And when I arrived to this place that I arrived to in the last couple of years, where I found myself conforming and sort of trying to polish off rough edges because certain people didn't want me to act or talk in certain ways, I had to really wake myself up at a point and be like, okay, why are you doing all this? Why are you developing your life on this knowledge, reality transurfing? What exactly are your intentions? Are your intentions to please the reality transurfing pendulum? Or are your intentions to continue to evolve as an individual? And the answer was pretty clear for me. It was to continue to evolve as an individual, no matter how much I looked up to the pendulum or how much I idolized the pendulum. At a certain point, I had to make a call. Is it good for me and the trajectory I have chosen for myself? The soul, the act of, dialing into the frail of my soul, continuing to shed programming and beliefs and stuff that isn't serving me. And, do I have the guts to continue on in this way, defying the standards as they have been set before me, regardless of what that means, right? Regardless of what that means. I knew that was going to happen. I knew that was going to happen. And I accepted it. And it was kind of like, it was kind of like the explanation point on the deal, right? At the end, it was like, boom, and that's it. And I know this is probably a little bit, people aren't used to thinking in this sort of way, but for me, this is an accomplishment. This is an accomplishment because this is my reality confirming that I have the audacity to continue to live in the manner that I have chosen for myself, regardless of the threats and consequences pendulums have projected towards me in an attempt to sway me back over to standards and conforming to a system that I didn't create. And I'm not about that life. I'm not about that life. So I know there's still a bit of chatter and gossip, and I definitely have seen stuff in the comments and on the Facebook group, people have said things. And what I have said to people that have challenged me or have wanted to bring this up and get into it is, this doesn't serve you, right? This doesn't serve you. You being concerned about why Renee Garcia was blacklisted and why Vadim Zeland felt the need to blacklist her and all that kind of stuff. This isn't something that is going to help you in your reality creation process. What I would, from my perspective, from my layer of reality, from my experience of what has helped me in my reality creation process and me, obtaining personal liberty and freedoms and carving my own path and dialing to the sector of reality that's specific for me and maintaining my individuality and all this kind of stuff. If I was going to give any advice to anyone that is putting an emphasis on this point, like, it's not going to do anything for you, but what you might benefit from is figuring out a way to get yourself on a blacklist. Figuring out a way to get yourself on a blacklist. Because this, like I said, this is confirmation that you're not shy, right? You're not shy and you don't give a fuck, and you can continue to move in your own direction and do your own thing and create your own reality and continue. And I know a lot of people thought that when this happened, that I was just going to kind of crawl into a hole and go die somewhere because Vadim Zeland had deemed me blacklisted. But in fact, the opposite has happened, right? That was a speed bump that I actually used to launch off of and gain momentum towards my goal. And I couldn't be happier with the current scenario, right? I couldn't be happier with the current scenario. I am free creatively. I don't have to answer to anyone. I have proven to myself yet again that I can defy the standards pendulums have set before me. And I'm really super proud of myself for being able to do all of this stuff and take a stand based on what I deem valuable for myself and my soul frail. So I get into the story a little bit more in the book that's going to be coming out sometime in the spring, most likely, my Reality Transurfing book. But I really like this Blacklist title holds a very, very special place in my heart. And I want anyone that, is curious about this to know that things aren't always what they seem, right? Things aren't always what they seem. Sometimes intentions and motives and the reasons that threats are made and the reasons that a person chooses to go their own way or defy the standards of the pendulum that have been set before them, all of this stuff, there could be a whole other thing happening behind the metaphysical scene. And I'm happy with how it has all turned out. So I'm actually going to use this video to address anyone that still has questions about it in the future. I'm just going to shoot them over a little link. And I hope this clarifies for anyone that's curious. Again, doesn't help anyone, right? Work at getting yourself on a blacklist. If you're going to spend any time and energy thinking about blacklisted, make certain that it's you getting blacklisted in some area of your life. And I hope that you get to experience the joy of just like letting go and allowing yourself to do what your soul is calling you to do, regardless of the threats and consequences, right? And at the end of the day, it doesn't actually matter. This doesn't, other than the occasional hater saying something, I don't really see any changes in my layer of reality. Oftentimes, things such as this is simply an illusion that doesn't actually mean anything. So having fear about it and, taking steps to avoid certain things that are just an illusion in the first place, it's kind of like, you have my permission, get yourself on a blacklist. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I don't know if anyone's gonna gain anything from it. I hope you do, but yeah. Blacklisted, boom.